As a mom and an entrepreneur who shares a lot about making money from home, I get a lot of other moms and parents asking me how I manage to get everything done. So I actually get questions like this a lot from people when I share about all the things that I'm getting done. They're like, how are you so productive? How do you get so much done? I get nothing done when my kids are at home with me. And I totally understand. I have days like that too. But I did get this really sweet comment from someone here on YouTube asking how I handle when my FIVERR orders blow up, like when I get a lot of FIVERR orders, and how I manage that along with my regular schedule. So I decided it was time to finally share my schedule and share with you how I created that schedule and all the ways that I managed to be productive without working 24/7. In reality, I'm at a really good point where I'm only working probably about 30 really focused hours a week. Of course, that's the time that I'm tracking. I use Toggl to track my time. I will leave a link down in the description box below. It is totally free. And of course, there are little tasks here and there, or when I check my email on my phone and stuff like that, where I don't exactly track that time, but my best estimate is about 30 hours a week. Sometimes it's way less, sometimes it's way more. It honestly just depends. Most people, even when they're working a 9 to 5, and I've done those as well in the past, they aren't really efficiently working that entire time. Most of us find ourselves distracted or less efficient throughout the day because we're working such long hours. And I would rather be really productive for 4 to 6 hours a day than work kind of hard and not do a lot over an 8-hour period. So this has taken me a really long time. I've been an entrepreneur for like over 10 years now, and I've been a work-at-home mom since my son was born, and he is 6 now. So I've had a lot of time to refine how I schedule things and how to be as efficient as possible. So right now I run several parts of my business. I have this YouTube account. I write articles for people on FIVERR. I manage Pinterest accounts. I blog. I sell digital downloads, and I have a lot of different moving parts in my business because I have multiple streams of income. And the only way I'm able to get all of this done is through batching. I've always been super scatterbrained, and I totally have shiny object syndrome where I will instantly just start doing something else because I thought of it, even though I'm in the middle of something else. It really took me a long time to get to this point where I can focus. So I do want to be transparent that as of now, my husband is a stay-at-home dad, so I am not doing this all alone. So if you're trying to compare yourself to me and you don't have help, do not do that. Even if I didn't have help, you can't compare yourself to someone else because you don't know their situation. So my husband has been a stay-at-home dad since 2018 when my daughter was born. But before that, for the 2 years that I was running my eBay business, I was running that as a stay-at-home mom to my son. I actually do have a day in life video from back in, I think, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, when I was heavily pregnant with my daughter, and I was a stay-at-home mom with my son running my eBay business, and you can see how chaotic it was and how tired I was in the video. It's kind of funny to watch now, but it is doable. It just depends on each person. So back then, when it was just me and my son at home and I had to figure out how to run a business while also taking care of him, I really utilized his nap times. I was lucky he was a really good napper. So what I would do is I would basically go to play dates in the morning, like almost every single day. We'd go to the park, go to a play date, and really tire him out, make sure he had a lot of fun, saw a lot of friends, and then he'd come home and he would nap hard. So I would have like 2 hours to get work done, and then he would wake up, we'd do our thing, and then I would do more work when he went to bed. Of course, I also worked on weekends when my husband was home to watch him, and I also had my mother-in-law sometimes come by and help for a couple of hours, so I did have help. But I was alone with him during the week and juggling both taking care of him and my eBay business. So it was rough, but it was doable, and it was something that I enjoyed. So I found time to do it. So now let's go over ways I schedule my days to be productive. I specifically schedule out my days so that I'm getting certain batches of work done. So in order to do this, you need to know what your responsibilities are and what kind of tasks you need to batch. You need to know what your schedule already looks like, what your non-negotiables are, what you need to get done on at certain times on certain days, like if you have a work schedule or if you have school pick up and drop off. You need to be able to kind of write down all of your responsibilities so that you can plan those out and make a schedule around that. So I know that my responsibilities are creating content for this channel and for my blog. I also have to write articles for clients as those orders come in. I manage Pinterest accounts for clients. And then the main non-work related things that I need to make sure I plan for are meal planning and grocery shopping and cooking, and then homeschooling. So what I do is I take all my responsibilities and then I lay it out into a weekly schedule that is kind of like my base schedule for the week, and then I can always move things around as needed. So I'm gonna jump over to Google Calendar to quickly show you what my schedule looks like. Okay, so now we are looking at my weekly calendar on Google Calendar, and you can see it's all color coded. and it's kind of a mess, but it really helps me figure out what I'm supposed to be doing and make sure that I get everything done. So I'm just gonna briefly go over this. I could talk forever about this, but I don't want to make this video too long. So you'll see that I have a bunch of different calendars here. Anything that's pink is just for me. Anything that's purple is family related. I don't have any cleaning tasks, but that would be blue. Green is client work. Yellow is hustle and slow, so YouTube or blog related stuff. And then my meal plan, which I have not put on here, and my resale related stuff is orange. So you will see right here that every morning, Monday through Thursday, I have my morning routine, which if I click on it, you can see is basically get breakfast done for the kids, get the kids ready, we'll do a chore, and we'll do learning time. I'm homeschooling my kids, so they're only 3 and 6, so it's not that serious, but we just sit down at the table and do a little bit of learning for like half an hour to an hour, just to kind of get that routine in there. And then after that, it's kind of my time to start working and my husband's turn to take over with the kids. So on Monday and Tuesday, I focus on content creation. This is so important that I did this because I kind of let client work creep into my whole week, and I would only do client work and then push my own stuff back. In April or March, April, maybe even February, I didn't get a lot of videos up because I was so busy with client work that I just didn't prioritize that. So now the beginning of my week is my own business. So I'm creating content for YouTube and my blog. I'm working on digital products, all that kind of stuff, so that I make sure that gets done at the beginning of the week, and it is a priority to growing my business. So that's what I do on Monday and Tuesday. You can see today is Tuesday and my husband's at a play date with the kids. I just have that on there so that I know what's going on that day. And then later on, I'm gonna go grocery shopping and do some meal prep in the afternoon. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, I focus on social media management, and this is mostly for my clients. I do manage Pinterest accounts for currently about 6 or 7 clients, and I was doing it all on Wednesday, but I found that it kind of spilled over into Thursday, and I would get super stressed out if I didn't do it all on Wednesday. So now I do it on Wednesday and Thursday. It is a pretty good chunk of my income and a pretty good chunk of my week, so I make sure that I have time to get all of that done. If it spills over into Thursday and I don't need to use that whole day, then I'll work on either my social media or anything else that needs to be done, really. A lot of times I don't spend this whole 6 hours working on social media. It's one of those things where like it's the same thing over and over, so I get distracted really easily, and sometimes I just can't get it done. I need to take breaks, but I do schedule all of Wednesday. That is my social media day, and I know that I'm gonna get my clients' accounts done during that time. You can see on Thursday, we also go to the farmer's market as a family and have breakfast together after that before I start working. And then on Friday and Saturday, I focus a lot on reselling. This is new since we just moved into this house, and I'm able to resell again because we're not living in a small travel trailer. We do yard sales on Friday and Saturday, and then on Saturday afternoon, I spend some time inventorying, taking photos, and drafting listings. So that's really the only time I spend on reselling. I don't spend the rest of the week doing it really at all. And then on Friday, I do my Friday finances, which I've talked about before, which is basically where I do my bookkeeping and pay myself. It takes about 15 minutes. And I get all of that done so that I always have a good, clear picture of what my business's finances look like, and I also make sure I get paid. And then you can see we do movie night with my family on Friday nights, and then on Sunday I try not to work at all. I know a lot of people do this for religious reasons. It just happened to be Sunday that was the day that worked out for us, so I try not to work or even look at my computer on Sunday. At the bottom here you can see IG posts live. So I have one client where I manage their Pinterest account, but I also manage their Instagram account. So I have this reminder that pops up on my phone so I can post one of their posts on these days. And also if I have anything scheduled for the week, I will post mine as well. So it's just kind of a reminder to make any Instagram posts live at that time. I know you can do this automatically with certain apps or websites, but they're a product-based business and I like to tag their products, and you can't do that in any of the automated apps. So that is my calendar, and this is a little bit tweaked for the week because I had to make some changes for like the play date and stuff. So if I go over to next week, you can see what it usually looks like. Oh, I missed my son's ninja training if you're wondering about that. It's gymnastics, but they call it ninja warrior training, so it sounds a little cooler, I guess. So he has that on Saturdays, but this is what it looks like. And then you see, this is pretty much what it looks like. And then this week, everything's moved around a little bit, so I can just tweak things as needed, but as a base, this is what it looks like. And that is my schedule. All right, so now you can kind of see how I plan on my week. I have everything in batches, so I know when things are supposed to be done, so I know what I'm supposed to be doing at any given time. And then to manage my to-do list for the day, I use a website called Trello where I can create a board for the week and then just kind of put my tasks in the board and drag and drop things as needed. So I'm gonna jump over to Trello and show that to you really quickly. Okay, and then this is what my Trello board looks like. This board is my weekly schedule. So this is kind of where I live during the week, and this is where most of my to-dos live. If you see some stuff blurred out, it's just because it's client information that I don't necessarily want on all over the internet. But you can see I have, today's Tuesday, so we have Tuesday, I focus on my YouTube and my blog, and then Wednesday is for writing and Pinterest, Thursday, Pinterest and social media / email, Friday is finances and catch up, and then weekend is catch up. So it pretty much correlates with my Google Calendar. But the thing I love about this is what I do is I have my regular things that I do each week, and then I can just drag and drop things underneath this line, which means I'm done. So at the end of the day, all of these things should be at the bottom, and then at the end of the day, I will move this over to the end, and then I have Wednesday ready to go. And this just kind of helps me keep things on track. I have a lot of clients that I work on their accounts weekly, and then I have my weekly tasks like recording videos, getting videos up, and stuff like that. So I use this to kind of track my to-dos, and anything else I need to add, I can just add another card and say tomorrow maybe I have to, or today I didn't add. I'm gonna move Tuesday back over since it's still Tuesday, and I'll add grocery shopping and meal prep because I didn't add that on here yet. Normally I probably wouldn't. It's mostly work tasks that I keep on here, but that way I can do that, and then when it's done, I can move it down and know that I did everything that week. If I don't get to my grocery shopping and meal prep and I want to move to a different day, I just drag it over and do that. So it's a really easy way for me to kind of plan out my weekly schedule. I have stuff here that needs to be done soon, or stuff like write blog posts. Like if I know that I do that regularly, I'll just move it over here when I don't need to do it that week, and then I'll just move it over like if I wanted to do that. These little labels up here are basically just time stamps, or not time stamps, time estimates. So usually publishing a video and sending an email takes me about 30 minutes. This client account usually takes me about 2 hours when I work on it. So it's just an idea of what that task is going to take. So that is that. And then I also have plenty of other boards. I have a content board and just a bunch of other boards. But this is basically where I live during the week. And then inside of each of these, I have a lot of information for my clients or any notes that are necessary for the tasks I'm going to do. All right, so those are the two things that I really use to manage my time, to make sure that I'm doing all the things that I need to be doing and keeping track of everything. I used to use a bullet journal, which also works really well, but I like Trello because I can drag and drop things. If like I don't get to something today, I can move it over to tomorrow. And then at the end of the week, all my recurring tasks, I can just kind of put back up at the top of the list, and then put anything else in that needs to be done that week. So it's really just really flexible and easy to drag and drop, and I can just look at it and move things around as needed. So back to this comment, what do I do when my FIVERR is blowing up and I already have my regular schedule and I'm already have a lot of stuff to do, right? So there definitely have been times where I've had like 20 FIVERR articles to write and I was stressed out. And what I do in these instances is I just move stuff around and I get up really early. I find that I work really well at like 5 to 7 o'clock in the morning, and I can get probably 3 to 4 articles done in those 2 hours, whereas those 3 to 4 articles would take me longer if I did them later in the day when my brain isn't as fresh. So my main way to get those extra articles done or any extra work done that doesn't fit into my schedule is to just get up earlier. I do enjoy getting up earlier, but at this point I'm kind of more prioritizing sleep because I can right now. So I'm in kind of a season where I don't have to get up early and work late and just work 10 hours a day. I've been able to hone in on my most productive tasks and the most needed tasks and kind of push away anything that is not that needed. So now I'm just going to give you my basic productivity tips for you to kind of help yourself be a little bit more productive as well. So my first tip is to track your time. I mentioned Toggl at the beginning of the video. This app is so great. You can get it on your phone, but I also have it just open in a tab on my browser because I do a lot of the work on my computer. I try not to work on my phone, which could also be another tip. So I just have it open, and anytime I switch to a different task, I just track it in there. This helped me see how much time I was spending on each thing, so I could properly create a schedule and be realistic about how much time things are taking me. Of course, time blocking, which I showed you in my Google Calendar. Time blocking is a really efficient way to work because you know when things need to get done, you know how you have this small block of time to do it, and it's easier to focus when you know, okay, this is the start date or start time and then end time. I need to get it done in this time. Tasks that don't have a start and end time tend to take longer than they need to, so it kind of pushes you to get things done. Secondly, if you're easily distracted like me, time blocking really helps, or calendar blocking really helps, because you know that later in the day or on a different day, you have a block of time scheduled for the task that randomly popped into your head. You know when you're going to be able to get it done, so you're not going to stop in the middle of a task to go do something else. This is something I really struggled with, and calendar blocking really helped me with that. Another thing is to ask for help if you can and let that guilt go. I used to feel really guilty that I couldn't run a business and take care of my kids and do everything myself, and that's just not realistic. And why would you want to burn yourself out like that? It sounds really cool to be that kind of super mom that can do literally everything, but I personally want to be able to enjoy my time with my kids and enjoy my time working and not feel like I'm overwhelmed all the time. So if you have family that you can have help you, or maybe you can trade babysitting with a friend, something where you can get a little bit of help so that you can get those tasks done that aren't as easy to do with kids around. Another thing that really helped me was really focusing on my kids. Rather than trying to work at the same time I was taking care of them. I know this isn't always an option, but if I can give my kids an hour or two of my undivided attention, no phone, no trying to work, they're more likely to go and play by themselves because they've had their time with me and they're not craving my attention, so I can go get something done. If I'm trying to half work, half play with the kids, then I'm frustrated, they're frustrated, and I'm really not doing that good of a job or being that efficient with work. So I've found that really focusing on one thing at a time helps a lot. You want to make sure to prioritize. Like I said, I kind of got rid of all the tasks that are not that important. They're not making me profit, they're not making me happy, they're not important to my family, and just whittled down things to the things that I really do need to do and the things that I really do want to do. We tend to pile our plates full of things to do when we don't necessarily need to, and there are usually a couple of things you can let go, and if you can just let those things go and be okay with that, you'll find that you have more time for the things that are important to you. Currently, I'm not doing a lot of social media. I don't post a lot on Instagram as much as I used to in the past because I found that it's not that important to my business, and it's kind of a time suck for me. And those 2 hours a day that I'm spending on Instagram because I went to go post something and I ended up scrolling for an hour, that's time that I'm saying no to hanging out with my kids or working on something in my business that can bring me a profit. Another thing that really helped me is to find somewhere that I work efficiently. Before the pandemic, I was able to go to Starbucks for a couple of hours once a week, and now I found a local co-working space where I pay a monthly fee and I can go and work there. And it's so nice because everybody else around you is working and they have really good internet, and it's just somewhere that I can really, really focus. So if I need to focus and the kids are being too loud, or I just am having trouble focusing at home because I know there's laundry to do or dishes to do, or I have to do a bunch of stuff around the house, I can go to that co-working space and get work done really efficiently. So if you can find somewhere like that, a co-working space or a coffee shop, or just somewhere where you can work really efficiently and get things done, then that's really, really helpful. Hopefully you found this video helpful and you picked up a couple of tips that might help you work from home as well and be a little bit more productive. I think the biggest thing is knowing what you're spending your time on and making sure that you're spending your time on things that are important to you, are going to make you money, or are important to your family. And remember, if you are at home with kids and that is your priority, that is okay too. Not everybody needs to run a full-time business while staying home with kids. You just need to figure out what your priorities are and stick with those. Now, I gave you a pretty brief preview of my Google Calendar and my Trello. If you want a more in-depth version of how I kind of plan all of that out and use those tools, definitely leave a comment below so I will know if you want to see that video. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.